Where do you think we are on the curve, the imaginary S-curve of adoption of AI?
We're extremely early.
Okay.
Extremely early, yeah. OpenAI just raised the biggest VC round ever in Silicon Valley, which is a $6.6 billion raise on a $157 billion valuation.
Yeah.
So it's huge, and we're very early in this industry. And Cykel is a minnow compared to that kind of valuation.
Yeah.
But that bet on OpenAI is the bet that it goes to $1 trillion in the next few years.
This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Well, I'm joined today by Ewan Collins, the newly appointed CEO of Cykel AI. Thank you very much for your time. Ewan, how are you?
I'm great. It's always good to be on StockBox, and pleasure to speak with you again.
Yes, good. Well, it was back in January, I think we met for the first time, and we had a bit of a chat generally about Cykel and what the company is all about. How have things been since the start of the year?
Yeah, it's been great. We've been building out the product. We've also been building out our pipeline of partnerships and our first batch of clients. And yeah, we're in a great spot with it. The platform is delivering results for customers. We have positive feedback. We have contracts starting to convert into commercial contracts. So we're very happy.
Good. Well, I know it was more conceptual that we spoke about last time, but I mean, and of course we'll get into more detail on what's actually going on the ground. But has this transformation that we've seen since January, is that what's led to your appointment now as CEO? I mean, what's the new role? Why have you taken on the new role?
Sure. Well, as you know, I'm one of the co-founders of Cykel, so I've been there since day one. Been more behind the scenes, focusing on the product and the market opportunity. But yeah, with the recent fundraise and with what we're trying to achieve next with Cykel, it just felt like the right time to step up and get in the hot seat.
Okay, yeah. And Jonathan, does he take a back seat? Does he become chairman? Is he still going to be in the background, sort of, advising?
Yeah, of course. It's he's one of the co-founders alongside me and Leah Mercier. So yeah, it's still the same team. It's just me taking the reins for the next chapter.
Excited about it?
Super excited. As I say, I've been there since day one. It's my baby. I love what we're doing. I love AI. By way of background, I've been building companies for the last 10 years. I've had 2 trade exits. Been in AI for the last 5 years. Been in public markets for the last 3 years. So in some ways it's a step up, but it's very much not my first rodeo of leading companies and understanding the dynamics of the public markets.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if we can perhaps just get a bit of a reminder of Cykel AI and its mission. Of course, when we've spoken before to Jonathan, he talked about AI, sort of ChatGPT being the brains of AI, but he wanted to put the hands, so putting sort of practical use cases to AI. So, I mean, is that still the MO of Cykel? If you can perhaps remind shareholders what Cykel's mission is.
Yeah, of course. So Cykel is what we call a work automation platform. So what that means is that we help businesses to automate those repetitive, manual, time-consuming, but essential tasks that take up so much of modern work. So we sell AI software, but what we're really selling is work itself. We're selling output. What our platform is it's a software platform where companies can build automations, and then they can run those automations that are powered by AI to, as I say, save time and really do more with less, and free up their team to focus on stuff that's more impactful and to punch above their weight.
Sure, yeah. And as I remember, some of the sort of examples of not necessarily what Cykel are doing, but good examples would be Salesforce, I think Jonathan talked about. So automating everyday things like just getting things booked into calendars, for example, those kind of more admin-y tasks that take up someone's time so they can actually focus on what's important. Or I think another example was automation of customer service at a high level. So someone's not happy with the product or they've returned it, and you're really dealing with an AI agent, effectively, who's doing the refund for you. In fact, I have a feeling I experienced that myself for the first time not so long ago. I just thought, I wonder if this is what's going on here, because it didn't seem quite, it was good, but I just thought this is a bit too robotic. But you know, that's a great example of sorting it out, and yeah, it worked. It did exactly what it needed to do, presumably without the interaction of a human. So what are the sort of practical products that you're working on at Cykel then to fit into that niche?
Yeah, so let me give you some examples. So the first thing to say is that our platform is industry agnostic, so almost any company can get use out of it. One of our clients is a recruitment company called Seed. They work with pretty large European fintechs like Klarna and Molly and a few others. And we've built about 10 workflows for them. And one of them is a competitor research workflow. So before when they got a new brief, they would have to go and research competitors, which meant searching the internet in a few different places, bringing it into a report, formatting the report, tidying it all up, and then sharing it with the team, which is 1 to 2 hours work every time. And if you've got 100 briefs a week, then that's a lot of hours. And now they just use the Cykel workflow that we built for them, which does all of that automatically and compiles a report for them. And it does all of that in, I think it's around 30 seconds as opposed to 2 hours.
Okay.
So the maths is pretty easy. It's hundreds of hours saved.
Okay. And that's one example of many, presumably, that Cykel are working on. Is it all bespoke for clients?
So our strategy has been based on the insight that AI is amazing, but in the hands of people who don't know how to use it, it's more of a toy. It's a fun thing that you can learn how to use, but it doesn't actually deliver impact, particularly on more complex kind of multi-step tasks. So our approach is we work directly with businesses, we kind of consult with them, work out what workflows they actually want to automate, and then our team will design and build the workflows for them, and it actually does what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
Which is the problem with chatbots largely, is that they do half of it, or they do it kind of correctly, kind of not. And so our platform is this will work repeatedly and in a predictable and scalable way. Okay.
And in terms of then sort of getting business, then is it old school, sort of knocking on doors, picking up phones, trying to get a foot in the door? You have a sales team who are sort of drum up business for you?
Yeah. So we have a sales team that's building our sales pipeline. There is an element of old school sales in there, although of course we're using AI tools to help to automate that.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've had we've pursued a partnership-based strategy where we've identified key businesses in a range of sectors, in fintech, legal, recruitment, sales, etc. And we've use those partnerships as test beds for the software and to get our foot in the door with other businesses in those sectors.
So those partnerships, and that's what was announced sort of fairly recently, wasn't it? So you've got Verotech and also Legal Pythia. So just explain. Well, let's start with Verotech, for example. Who are they? What do they do? What do they bring to the table for you guys?
Sure. So Verotech are a sales company, and they're using Cykel to automate parts of their sales workflow. Okay. So sales in particular is an interesting area because it's human led, but it's also a numbers game. You just need to do it more and just reach the largest number of people that you can. So AI is perfect for that. You can do things on a scale that a human sending cold emails just can't do. So that's a really strong area for us. And then Legal Pythia. As you can imagine, AI is very powerful for law, analysing documents, pulling information out of large, complicated documents. So that's the use case for them, is using Cykel to build these little workflows to analyse documents on their behalf.
That's a very good use case, isn't it? Because, I know you have these sort of, in the States, they're called paralegals, aren't they? Who basically they're junior lawyers. Their job is to basically go and pull old court cases and old verdicts to try and put a case together for the more senior lawyers. So you could just punch that in effectively. It's all archived if it is digitally. Then that would do it in seconds. You wouldn't have to go through and read a load of old case notes. So, is that the kind of thing that might be applied to?
Yeah, and it's one of the things that Cykel is really good at is summarizing and analyzing documents, because that's the premise of LLMs. So yeah, we think there's huge opportunities in legal and also in other industries that involve analysing and summarising documents, which is a pretty widespread task.
Yeah. And just on the web app, that's something that was launched recently. Just explain what the web app is that Cykel are doing and how it sort of fits into everything else that you're working on.
Sure. So our platform is now the browser extension, which was the product that we led with, and also now a web app. The reason for launching a web app is it means more people can use it across more devices. It means we have a bit more screen real estate to include more functionality. And it was something our customers were asking for, so it was something that we decided to release. So we now have some of our customers will use just the browser extension, but many of them are now using primarily the web app.
Okay. And what does it do?
So it's where your automations live. So you have a grid of all the automations that you have built into your workspace, and then you have various functions like running the workflow, seeing the history of workflows that you previously run, editing elements of it, managing your team and your users if you're an enterprise customer.
Okay, so it's a hub for all the apps that you're using effectively to sort of see it as a dashboard and control it.
Exactly. You can also manage all the integrations that we support. So the way that Cykel actually does tasks for you is that it connects to the work apps that you use. So it might be your CRM or your ATS or other software, and then Cykel is your kind of AI tool in the middle, which then will go and perform actions in these different integrations.
So with Cykel, and it's not going to be about sort of one star shining product effectively. You're not making a NVIDIA, you're not making the next GPU that's a product, that's a single thing. It's a portfolio of different applications and going down a SaaS model basically. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's SaaS. So there's an overall platform, there's pricing tiers, there's different access to different features and different allowances around how much you can use the platform, and then we have different features and then different touch points where users can use the product.
Where do you think we are on the curve, the imaginary S-curve of adoption of AI?
We're extremely early.
Okay.
Extremely early, yeah. OpenAI, perhaps your audience have seen, just raised the biggest VC round ever in Silicon Valley, which is a $6.6 billion raise on a $157 billion valuation. Yeah. So it's huge, and we're very early in this industry, and Cykel is a minnow compared to that kind of valuation. Yeah. But that bet on OpenAI is the bet that it goes to $1 trillion in the next few years. Yeah, so that's the growth trajectory that the smart money.
$1 trillion.
Yeah. I mean, if you're valued at 157, then you have to be. Then that's the number everyone's interested in. So that's what the smart money is seeing in Silicon Valley.
Okay, right. Do you worry, being a minnow, that a big fish will come and take you out?
No, not at all. I mean, I say a minnow in that we're super early. We're very happy with our share price and our market cap and the trajectory that it's going, but the potential upside is enormous compared to where we are now versus where the big players in Silicon Valley are. Yeah,
because I see chat that people think the AI bubble's blown up, but I can't see it. I think it's nothing like the .com kind of era yet, is it, in AI?
No, not at all. And there's been a lag with the application layer behind the smartness of the models. So the models have been coming out every few months and have been increasing at a pretty dramatic rate. But the application layer of which Cykel is a part, so how do you actually apply these models to useful business, has been lagging behind. But the models are going on a kind of exponential
I think that's it, isn't it? It's finding its application now. You've had the kind of excitement like when internal internet came out and email. Oh, okay, this is really cool. Okay, but what does it actually do? And it takes a little while for that kind of thing to move through the system and find its feet, and as you say, find its application. So yeah, I would agree. We're very early on in this. It's going to be quite an exciting cycle. Maybe it's mine and your generation, our .com generation. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I'm excited for the future. The important thing, of course, for shareholders is how do you monetize all of this? I know you've got your web app as well that was launched recently. So what's the business model? How do you bring in money effectively and build a company?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very simple. It's a SaaS business model.
Subscription based.
It's a subscription based business model. So we sell at the moment per seat. and per task. We have various tiers around cost of a seat, cost of a task, and we sell the software just as the last 20 years of SaaS has proven works as a business model.
Yeah, okay. And are you, with being in sort of the early part of your development phase here, it's at the moment, is it fair to say that you're in that process of getting new clients, building new applications, and basically getting into the industry, and then, you know, in I don't know, 6 months, 12 months time, we will start to see the market, will start to see the fruits of that in terms of you be able to publish revenue, income streams and forecasts. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we already have paying customers. We've pursued a pilot scheme strategy where we're selling a relatively novel technology and a different way of working that the companies aren't familiar with. So our approach is not to try and kind of ram a square peg into a round hole. It's instead to work in a more kind of hand-in-hand way with businesses over a period of a few months. And then once we've proven value, then those contracts start to convert, which is what we're already seeing. So our challenge and our strategy is we just take what's working on a smaller scale, and we just apply that playbook on a bigger and bigger scale over the next few quarters.
Would you say at the moment Cykel is a speculative play on the AI sector, or more than that?
No, I mean it's a risk-reward opportunity for anyone who wants to get into early stage AI tech. Which if you're not in VC, then you're going to struggle with. You know, you can go and buy Nvidia if you want, but that's all already extremely mature. There are very few things out there like us where we are a risk-reward early company that's in AI. Good.
And you recently raised £750,000, I think, and it was quite oversubscribed, wasn't it?
Yeah, very oversubscribed.
So you had a lot of interest from the investors who were contacted.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, good. And how do you sort of plan to deploy those funds? What's the plan to put those funds to work?
Sure. So as I mentioned, we have a playbook that's working, and we just need to scale up that playbook. So that means more sales, more marketing, and we have an interesting roadmap of features that we're going to build into the platform, but that's ticking along nicely. So the new capital is really going towards scaling up sales and marketing. Scaling up sales and marketing.
Okay. Do you have any key financial goals for the next sort of 12 to 18 months, and how you plan to build some value for shareholders?
Yeah. So first thing to say is that we're in a regulated market, so I can't be too specific on numbers or projections. But what I can say is that we have a very high margin product. We are very confident that when we scale our sales pipeline, that what we've seen working already will continue to work, and the margin will remain really, really very high, and that will be a very strong basis on which to build a profitable company.
So you're confident that Cykel will become a very profitable company?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. We'll wait to see when you can announce those formal results. Just some final thoughts, Ewan. I mean, just thinking about sectors, regions, that kind of thing in this space that you perhaps see where the next big opportunities are. We've talked obviously about sales and legal there, but what about other sectors? I mean, you say it's sector agnostic. Are there any sectors that you find more kind of sexy than others that might, be more of a shining star?
Yeah, there are, and we're also looking at, of course, bigger companies. That's the goal for any B2B software company is going after the big fish, and we're already in the early stages with a couple of pretty big names.
Okay.
So
big names that your man on the street would know.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And the message we're getting from them is that yes, they want to use the tech to be more efficient and to save time, but also everyone is just desperate for intel and having an edge that means that they can stay ahead of this wave of AI transformation that's hitting at the moment. The line a line that I like is that you won't be replaced by AI, but you'll be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI better than you.
Right.
So that seems to resonate with most of most of the larger companies we're talking with.
Okay, interesting. And just finishing off, so we spoke the first time in January, obviously with Jonathan with regards to Cycle, so that was 6 months-ish ago. I imagine we'll probably meet again in 6 months' time. So let's look at the next 6 months and give shareholders an idea of perhaps what's to come. I mean, you said, a lot of focus is going to be sales and marketing. I assume you're going to have plans to perhaps get more partnerships, announce some perhaps, or close some deals with bigger names. You probably can't say too much of what you want to, what's in your head and what you're working on, but if you to give any kind of little bits of things that people could get sort of excited for, the next 6 months, what's it looking like?
Yeah, well, let me talk about something on the product, which I'm personally very excited about, which is this idea of AI agents. So your viewers may or may not have read about this idea, but this is really the golden goose for the AI industry as a whole. And the idea of an AI agent is that it's an autonomous agent that can go and perform a task for you without you having to supervise it. And you can imagine all the ways that this could revolutionize the economy and society in general. And that, I talked earlier about OpenAI's valuation. Baked into that is this assumption that they are going to be among the first to release AI agent technology. And so that is something that we are already exploring. We already have our first versions of our own AI agents in testing. You can imagine they're relatively complex, but as soon as the technology is ready, we will of course go to commercialize it. Okay, and you can't elaborate more on what they'll be doing. But it's agents that you get them to do a task effectively for you. Yeah, exactly. So it's the same kind of premise as what our platform already does, which is a human triggers an automation. It's just taking that, but then applying it to something that has a kind of decision-making faculty that can then go and do that and autonomously, and then you're essentially hiring another person into your team, but that person is an AI agent rather than a human. Yeah, okay. All right. Good. Well, it sounds exciting. Thank you very much for your time. Ewan Collins is CEO of Cykel AI. Great. Well, thanks for having me, and always nice to talk.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.